Desperately needing a win after 2 losing sessions, we are back on the felt. In this crazy session, we built a $1,200 stack after being stuck almost $900. We placed some massive pots down the stretch in this session, and we river a set in the very first hand. Drop a like on this video to hopefully end this losing streak, and let's get going. Okay guys, jumping into the first hand. Don't worry, table footage in the next hand. We've got pocket twos this time. We're in early position. We open it up to $10. We immediately get raised by a player who is a very clear Yankees fan. I think he's 1 or 2 seats to my right. He makes it $20, so a min raise, pretty weird. We're not gonna be going anywhere, and apparently neither is the cutoff. We're the only 2 that make the call, so we're going 3 ways to a flop, which comes out ace high with no deuces. Obviously not the flop for us. Actually ends up checking through though, so we get another pull at hitting our set. Turn comes down the 10 of diamonds, so we do not hit our set. We are very uninterested in this hand until the river comes down the 2 of diamonds. So we've got 3 of a kind now. We're obviously going to look to get some money in here if we possibly can. Early position checks. The other player bets $20. I'm raising up here. I rivered a set. We're going to see if we can get some money in here. I make it $100, and he goes well into the tank. He thinks about it for quite a while. Not 100% sure what he was worried about here. I guess he was worried about the backdoor diamonds. He eventually makes the call, and he shows us pocket tens. So yeah, we have a set over set situation, the very first hand of the night. Things can only get better from here. Yikes. On to the next one. Looking down at ace jack, we're under the gun. Surprisingly enough, this actually isn't an open according to a lot of charts. We decide though that we're not too worried about that. We make it $15 to go, and we see 2 other callers. So not super happy, not super disappointed. This is about what you expect. Not exactly the flop we were dreaming of. I decide to go ahead and c-bet $20 here. I think I c-bet a pretty wide range on this board, but I don't hate this. We get a snap call, and when someone like this, especially this in particular person, snap calls, it means he's on a draw or is just going to 100% call me down. We get 1 other caller. Turn comes down the 6 of spades. I should definitely be checking here. I don't think I accomplished anything with my $35 bet. Sure enough, we see that sticky opponent make the call. So we're off to see a river, which comes down the 2 of diamonds. Still no help. Not really feeling it. We're not in a very good spot. I don't really know what I'm thinking with this bet here. Like, what is he going to fold to me that he's been calling this whole way? Obviously, that was a brick. We bet out $75. He asks us how much we have. We tell him we've got about $250 left. He raises to 200. We've got ace high here. We go into the tank. We're thinking about making the call. I just don't think we can really justify this. We're in the tank for quite a while. We do some talking before eventually laying it down. Our opponent shows us the 8 of hearts. He's tickled pink that he beat us. That's okay. If he's having a good time, that's all right with me. We've gotten the better of him in plenty of hands. I also don't believe him at all that he had 9-8 here, even though he did show us the 8 of hearts. I think he had more like 8-7 for the absolute nuts. He's not somebody that's going to be putting in money light. He's not going to be bluffing us. This isn't somebody we're going to let get under our skin. Let's get back in there and win some money. After making a painful river fold, we are now into this game for $700. Yeah, not ideal. We're looking down at pocket queens though. That feels great. We're under the gun +1. We've got about $475 of our $700 in front of us. I open up to $15, like I said, from under the gun +1, and we get called by middle position and the big blind. Off to see a flop, which comes down. Terrible. I lead out for $30, and the middle position player makes the call. Turn comes down a 4. I check. Our opponent checks back. That's some good news. River's 10 of spades. I check. Our opponent in middle position bets $75. I think about it for a while. I don't know that I really believe he has an ace here. Obviously, some aces he's going to be 3-betting. Is he really going to check back the turn if he has an ace? Like, I don't really know. We decide we're making a hero call because we love making hero calls. He mucks though, so we get good news in this one. Take down a sizable pot. We picked one off. On to the next.
Probably it. That's probably it. Right,
looking down at Big Slick here, we're in the cutoff. We've got around $600, so we're fighting our way back towards being even. A very active player from middle position 1 opens to $7. I make it 25 to go, and he is the only one that makes the call. So heads up to a flop where we do not flop a pair. Obviously not ideal, but having the ace of spades is great here. Looking to possibly check raise, but he checks back. Having the ace of spades is obviously great on this board. Actions of checking through. Turn comes down the 9 of diamonds. He checks. I decide to check back. I think I maybe could have taken the lead here, but I'm not really sure. I could just have the best hand. Also, he'll have lots of pocket pairs that aren't folding, so I don't know, kind of a weird spot. Let me know what you think. River comes down to 10. I decide to bet out $35 here, which I think is bad for the reasons that I just outlined on the turn. And he tanks for a little bit before calling, and he shows us ace 9. So I think that's a solid but not amazing call from him. He unblocks the flush draw and any pocket pair I'd have. Better than 9s I would have bet at some point. So yeah, I think that's a pretty straightforward call from him. I think I played this hand pretty bad. Not usually in love with how I play ace king. Oh well. So after losing a couple of hands where I 3-bet ace jack and ace queen pre-flop and end up breaking flops and having to fold, we were down to around $200 before we looked down at king jack offsuits. Got about $200. We're in the big blind. New player makes it $15 to go. We end up going like 4 ways to a jack high flop, which is great news for us. Obviously with top pair here, can't really ask for too much better. Action checks to the razor, bets $30, and I am the only caller. So got a chance here. Turn comes down the 2 of diamonds. I check. He bets 45. I decide we're going to go ahead and get it in. We've got the king of diamonds, so we've got some diamond outs. I shove. He goes in the tank before eventually making the call. River comes down a total blank. He mucks and says he had queen jack with no diamond. So we just had him out kicked here. We'll take this one. We really needed it. We double up. We've got a chance still. Looking down at ace jack of spades from the small blind, we've got around $400. There's a button straddle. I open up to $20 and we get 4 callers. So going extremely multi-way to this flop, which is all paint. Action ends up checking through. Turn comes down the 4 of hearts. I decide to bet out $20 and we get 3 callers, so we didn't lose anyone. River comes down the queen of clubs. I check. Another player checks. Another player checks. Someone who I'm kind of suspicious of making this play bets $65. I really want to make the call here. I just can't find a way to do it with this many people in the hand. We see one player make the call before we have to fold. He shows jack 10 and he was good. So the player who we thought was bluffing was definitely bluffing. Unfortunately, with that many people in the hand, we didn't get to be the one to pick off the bluff. What are you going to do? Pretty unfortunate that we couldn't be the ones making this call, but is this really a call here? I don't really know. Let me know down in the comments. I don't really think it's a call for me regardless, even if we're heads up. I don't know, guys. Me and these hero calls, it's a problem.
All right, final straddle on the button. 5 to go. Playing for 25, guys.
Looking down at ace queen offsuit from the big blind, we've got around 220-ish to start this hand. It's a straddle pot. I open up to $20 and we get 4 callers. So way multi-way once again, but we're loving this flop where we flop top pair, top kicker. I bet $40 and only this aggressive young player makes the call. Turn comes down to 3 of spades. I don't know, guys. We're going to rip it in here, and he snap calls. Like, snippety snap calls. So we are not loving that, obviously. River comes down the 6 of hearts. I flip over my hand, and he shows down king 2 of hearts. So we had to get there with the flush on the river. We did. We end up with a nut flush. We flush over flush this guy. Thank God. We double up, and we're still in this. We could still find a way to claw out of this massive hole we've dug for ourselves. King of hearts, queen of diamonds in this one. We've got around $350 and we're in the big blind again. There's a button straddle. I'm gonna raise it up again. I make it $20 and we get 3 callers again. Every single hand goes multi-way. Everybody that grinds live poker knows that's going to be the case a lot of times. It just makes for some interesting post-flop situations. Flop comes down, queen high, so we've got top pair, almost top kicker. I bet $40 and we get 1 caller. Turn comes down, the king of spades. Bingo, we've got top 2. Now we're feeling great. I decide to bet out $175 this time. Obviously, a huge raise, but given the size of the pot, I don't think it's that far out of the realm of reasonableness. He shoves. Obviously, this is going to be a call from us. Like, what are we going to do differently? River comes down to 3. He shows us 6-5. So we 2-pair over 2-pair someone, and we double up again. We've got life, guys. We're well within striking distance of being back to even. Who knows? Maybe we can come out of this session with some profit. We need it. In this one, I've got 6-5 of diamonds. We're starting the hand off with around $750 and we're in the hijack. Under the gun plus 2 opens to $15. Middle position calls, I call, and the big blind makes the call. So Super multi-way, off to see a flop, which comes down queen 5-4. So not the best, not the worst. We've got some backdoors and we've got a pair. Big blind checks, under the gun 2, bets $35. Middle position calls. I think this is a little bit loose of a call, maybe, but I think we're deep enough now with our pair and backdoors that it's probably okay. We make the call, and we're off to see a turn, which, let me tell you, is a beautiful turn. We're turning trips here. Under the gun +2, bets out $55. Middle position folds. I'm not going anywhere. I'm making the call. I don't think we need to raise here. I think if we do raise, it turns our hand very face up. So I'm pretty happy with just the call. River comes down to 9 of hearts, so total brick. Under the gun player checks, so now we know we have to go for some value, and the question is how much can we get him to call? I decided to bet out 110 here, and he goes way into the tank. As soon as he checks, we know we have the best hand, so we're sitting here praying for a call. Eventually my opponent puts in the call and disgustedly shows ace queen after I flip my hand over. So we take down a pretty big pot. We're in the profit. Let's go. Let's find a way to win some more hands in this thing. Let's have a big winning session. Street poker out here.
You want for that?
Unfortunately, at this point in the evening, it seems like the game started to wind down a little bit, but we pick up one more premium hand. We've got ace king of spades from the button, starting the hand off with right around $1,000. Middle position opens to 15. We get 2 callers. Obviously, I'm raising it up here. I bump it up to $75, and middle position makes the call. Off to see a very pretty flop, which is king high, but it's all clubs. So the all club thing, not ideal. Middle position checks. I decide to go ahead and bet out $75 with my top pair here. I don't hate that sizing. I think it's okay. He makes the call. So not super sad, not super thrilled. Turn comes down the 9 of not clubs. So very happy about that. Middle position checks. I decided to bet out $100 this time. I think that's actually a little bit small. He thinks about it for a little bit before making the fold. So not totally happy with that sizing, but we take down that hand. Unfortunately, the game continues to deteriorate and kind of wind down and breaks shortly after, but we can report a profit for the first time in several sessions. It's been kind of a crappy run. We really dug ourselves a massive hole early in this thing. Feels good to win this last hand, to have fully dug ourselves out of a massive hole and to be racking up a winning session. Well guys, we made it back home. It's after 2 a.m. Now we have to decide if we're gonna stay up all night and go play basketball at 5 a.m. and figure out work the next day, or what we're gonna do. Anyway, in for $900, out for $1,260. Feel like we earned this one, played a long time. I don't know if I really even played that well. We got some lucky card distribution a couple different times, but yeah. Give this video a like to help keep me awake. Have a good one. See you in the next one. See, I'm already falling asleep. It's getting tough out here. Have a good one. See you next time. Don't even know if I'll be able to use this because it's super windy out here, but all right, time to either go to bed or figure out how we're going to stay up for 2.5 more hours. So later.